In 2011, the Lagos State government enacted the a new criminal law. The Lagos State criminal law of 2011 abolishes the crime of sodomy. But it also renders the crime of rape a unisex crime. Beginning with the review of New Zealand's Sex Crimes Act in 1975, the world has moved on. That sex is not a crime, rape is not a crime of gender. It is a crime of power, and it is unisex. And that really is where we should be. The idea that somehow it's okay to rape men must be resisted. Because it isn't. 25% of our young women will be raped before they are 18. Now, a lot of people will say, okay, that's okay. It is not. That is not just an epidemic of crime, it's a public health disaster. It gets worse. 10% of our young boys will also be raped before they are 18. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will be surprised by this. 10% of boys in Nigeria, these are not NGO figures, these are official figures of Nigeria's federal government released together with the Centers for Disease Control. Rape, if you find somebody on top of a 2-year-old, it's defilement. And it's 7 years. And as a matter of fact, we then plead our culture, you know, it is not part of our culture to report this thing to the police. Oh, you know, you will render your, how can you report your husband or uncle? HIV/AIDS is now easily manageable. But you cannot manage it if particularly MSMs are driven on the ground and driven to a situation in which they feel that if they make themselves available to accept antiretroviral programs, they can then be arrested for who they are. That is not part of the promise of our Constitution, because our Constitution in Section 17 requires government to be humane. Humane government cannot be government that drives people who require assistance and access to life-saving medication to avoid what they can use to save themselves, prolong their lives, and live meaningful lives and contribute meaningfully to our society. And that is why, in my view, we've got to mainstream the LGBTQ community by inviting everyone to everything. That's why I'm here today. Because we are all human. Who people sleep with is not my business, is not your business, it's not anybody's business. Unless they're sleeping with children.
A young boy was arrested. A young man was arrested. I think he was about 22 on his way to work. And the police had stopped him because he was working in a particular way. And they took him to a cyber cafe and asked him to log on to his Facebook account. And printed out with his own money all his Facebook messages in the last 5 years. All the pictures he had on the Facebook. And then printed it and then took him to the station and arrested him and said he's gay. We got the message on our Twitter DM. And they sent us a number that, this boy's arrested, what can we do? So immediately I rang the phone number that was available and I started speaking to the guy. Luckily, the police station that he was arrested, the Area C police station, was where some of the policemen were. So I called one of our contacts there. And the guy said, so what do you want us to do now? What are we going to do to this case? The boy had called me that he has asked him to produce 100,000 naira for bail. And said that, this is against the law. Our law is 14 years, this and that. And I said to Ayo, I'm torn between quoting the law, saying what is right with the law, and the young man who is at the police station, who is already there, who is also afraid of what his brother or his mother would do if they get to find her. Because first, you know how any parent will react. Or we just arrested yourself for being gay. So to cut the long story short, I negotiated with the police guy for 30,000 naira. And the guy had the guts to say, okay, don't worry, come bring the money. Last 1 month and a half, we spent over 600,000 billing people in Lagos police station, and in a particular police station in Lagos State. And all of the arrests have been around arresting people based on how they walk, how they look. And not just that, the new crime rate now, they take you to the cyber cafe and ask you to pay with your own money. Log it into your Facebook account and your social media account, and they print out your private message. Before then, there was a case on Monday before then of another 2 guys who also had the same arrest. And this one had paid about 140,000 naira to the police. because the brother of the other guy didn't want any drama and said, you know what, I just want this to be over, I want everything to be over. But this is what happened every day, every week, every month. But what is most important is the fact that this is about human. It's about people. I mean, we think it's okay to beat people, naked them and parade them. Police make a huge achievement when they arrest gay people. So in the last 1 year, we've documented cases of 172 human rights violations in 18 states by 7 organizations. And this human rights violation were involved when it was about 282 people were involved. And most of them were around blackmail, extortion, police brutality, and arrest. The highest top on the violation report that we recorded this year was blackmail and extortion, which was 54. Of all the 170 cases that we documented, 54 were blackmail and extortion. Last year we had a case of a guy who was arrested. The guy was blackmailed, and then they went to the police station in Apapa to report to the police that, oh, this guy that blackmailed me collected my phone. And the moment the police guy heard that this guy is gay, you know what they did? They asked the guy who had blackmailed him to go, and they arrested the guy that is gay. And the guy was there for 2 days before it was finally bailed. And caught me anywhere. For every single bail we go to the police station to do, it is not free. The minimum we spent on bail is 10,000 naira. I'm not sure if some of you heard about the case in Ibadan just a few months ago, where 21 young men were gathered together, having a birthday party. And their neighbor went to report to the police that he suspected that they were having a gay court initiation meeting. The police came there and arrested all the 21 young men and took them to the police station. Of all the violations, 37 were battery and assault. People work in a different way. You know, gender is another very big issue in this country. There's a way we describe how people are supposed to look and how they're supposed to work. You know, you work in a certain way, you're not supposed to work in a certain way, you wear a certain color of clothes, you're not supposed to wear a certain color of clothes. People have been beaten across this country because they work effeminate, or because they wear pink, or because they wear a pink shirt or a pink socks. And I don't know when we began to have something in the Constitution that describes how people should walk, or how people should sit, or how they should dance, or how they should not dance, or who they should even dance with, or what kind of party that you should organize. You know, if I decide to have all men party, I'm not sure there's a law that, but with the same sense of, by the way, the sense that my provision has, is something that you and I cannot do. And of all these cases that we've documented, none of these cases were caught in their hands. So it's about this person thinks that you're gay, this person thinks that you're straight, or this person thinks who you are, and they go to report. A few months ago, a young lady was raped by 7 men, non-stop, for 2 days. And what they said was that they were trying to correct her sexuality, that maybe she doesn't have enough men. I mean, I used to hear a lot of this thing in South Africa, but I didn't believe it was when it happened in Lagos. And when the girl called us and they reported to us, we were going to take up the case. But you know, when people have gone through much trauma, I mean, they go through so much trauma, and the only thing they want to just get out and go to another place and act like nothing has happened. The girl disappeared. I think that it's about time that we begin to speak out on this issue, not because we are even part of the community. We don't even need to be part of the community. It's about human rights. It's about right to freedom of expression, right to associate. Religion is a personal thing.
I mean, I agree with people being gay or being lesbian, but it's not okay for you to promote hate towards them. It's not okay. It's not okay for you to think it's okay for them to be beaten naked and parried across the street. It is not okay for people to take the law of justice into their hand. It is, how do you even want to hear somebody go to court and say, oh, the police arrested me because they think I'm gay and I'm going to take them to the police because there was no evidence, there was no basis. People fear the backlash that comes with it. People fear the stigma, the discrimination that comes with it. I mean, we know how the bullying that comes with things like that, whether online or offline. So people, and I think the police already knows this and they take advantage of this. And that is why if you arrest somebody, if they're going to charge them. If you're not going to charge them, there is no point extorting money from them.
What is your advice to young men or women who have been raped due to this tragedy? Like, what's your advice to them?
My advice to them is they shouldn't keep quiet. Speak up. Go there. Lots of human rights organizations in this country. Go to anyone you can get to. Report the case. Take up the case. Because it's a lot of time when we keep quiet that people who do this kind of unjust acts think it's okay to be done.
Because I think some of them are very scared of going out to meet someone because they are scared of being judged by the lawyers they want to meet or something.
I don't think people are even scared by being judged by the law. People are being scared by being judged by the society. You and I. They're scared of being judged by you and I. Before anybody judge them, who judge them? You and I. Is that's what people are afraid of. The online bullying, the offline bullying is what people are mentally afraid of. And nobody, I'm going to be honest, it's not easy. Bullying is not something that is easy. It's not something that people can mentally take. So it's about us creating a safe space for people who get raped to speak. We have to create a safe space for people who are abused to speak up. We have to first of all believe them and then investigate. We have to create space for people to be able to speak up. If we don't create space for people to speak up, people will continue to do this and they will think it's okay for them to do it.
So what is your advice to the Nigerian government concerning the discussion of LGBT?
I think there's only one advice I have for the Nigerian government and especially for the president is the fact that I remember when he was campaigning, he specifically said that every Nigerian matters. And to me, the Nigerian government must make every Nigerian matter. Every single citizen of this country matters. It is not whether because I'm straight or I'm gay or I'm bi or I'm lesbian or whatever label you want to give to me. It's because every single Nigerian do matter. The opinion you think doesn't really matter. And you know one thing? It's okay for people not to agree. But the only place I have a problem with, when you take your not agreeing to the violence level. It's okay for you to think, oh, I don't understand what it means for people to be gay or lesbian. But when you take it further and add the heart of injustice by beating, extorting, blackmailing, that's when it's not okay. And I think that the Nigerian government must distance this from whatever they want to do. They must speak up against this kind of issue. You can't keep quiet and make it look like it's okay for people to get beaten for what they are.